So Jamal Niaz here with Loop director Bruno Bini.
Through email, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
email.
Okay, okay.
You remembered.
Yeah. Cool.
So we've had a quick discussion before this. I told you that this is the most complex and mind-bending time travel film that I've ever seen, and that is a massive compliment to you. Was that something that you set out designing when designing the script, and how difficult was coming up with this from your perspective?
It was really difficult, and the main thing was during while I was writing the screenplay. It was there were moments where I completely froze. I thought I could not end the screenplay, because there was so many details and but I guess it came naturally. I didn't set out to make the something too complex because uh, that that could be dangerous. If you lose your spectator, he won't come back. So I had to put a complex story in a narrative way to keep people interested. I guess that was the most challenging thing to do. And but I tell you, it was really difficult. I had a lot of struggle writing it to make complex enough, but understandable enough to people to not get lost in the story.
I think the daunting thing about creating a time travel film is that audiences are going to be assessing and trying to catch you out from a storytelling perspective and seeing if you slip up in terms of the narrative being coherent. And there were times where I was thinking in the beginning, was that scene wasted? But then the dialogue that was maybe early in the film really does come back to be huge later on in the film. So you treat your audience as they are intelligent and then they are listening to every word on the screen. Is that something that you look to maintain in your films going forward?
Yeah, that's a style of story that I find quite appealing. I I've said before in the Q&A that some of the references that I have, not only for Luke but for the kind of film that I want to do, that I like to do, is non-linear films. Like when I was really young, I watched Pulp Fiction, and that was mind blowing. But then we had several other. We have Memento. We have what else? We have Amores Perros from Inarritu, and those are films that they construct a story in a way of piece by piece delivering the full picture. And I find it fun. It's fun to build this film together, and as an audience, and as a producer too, as a director, as screenwriter. But so that's I find it so compelling. I find it entertaining, and this is for sure the kind of film that I want to keep doing it.
You mentioned Memento there, and I definitely thought of Memento when I was watching Loop then. And a thing that I liked about your film as well, the lines between good and bad, it was very difficult to assess whose characters and like which characters had the right intentions during the film. I think the lead actor's sister ultimately probably was the most genuinely good person in this film. Is that something that you like to delve into and really flesh out these characters and explore their dark natures as well as their light side as well?
Yeah, I guess that's life, right? We're not good 100% of the time. We're not bad 100% of the time. So we have it's not black and white, it's gray. I find hard to write characters that they're only one thing. You have to get so you lack dynamic if you do this. You have to have characters that has doubts, that don't know if they're doing the right thing. And they can make mistakes, uh, as it is in life. And that's what interesting about people. in my opinion, is to be aware that we're not perfect 100% of the time, and we don't have to be it, especially in films. And I guess audiences find it more appealing. They connect with characters that are more like them, you know. So it was something that I wanted to do. I didn't want to set this is the good guy, this is the bad guy, and you know, and I think is in a way something that doesn't happen in real life. So and we, as I was setting to do, even if it's a science fiction film, I wanted it to be quite realistic.
Yeah.
So I had to have characters that were realistic too.
I mean, the tone of the film, when things are great, it's very comedic and very light-hearted. But when things get dark, it can go into that real thriller territory of your Mementos and Pulp Fictions that you mentioned. So how difficult was it getting that tone equal throughout this process?
Oh, we have moments. I have during while I was writing the screenplay, I noticed that there were moments that were completely different for the protagonist, you know, and I wanted to make the mood coherent for this moment. So, and that was not only, as you say, with humor or a more dark mood, but not only in what's being said or what's being done, but in the photography, the art direction, and the environment. It's affected by his mood. So it was, we actually, there was something that I did with my assistant director, and we made a graphic, an emotional graphic, and that helped us a lot to get to be constantly aware of what the tone of the scene is, so we don't get lost. That was a movie that was really easily to get lost. I have members of the crew constantly coming. So where are we now? What's happening? So because it's, as I said, non-linear, so it's easy to get lost while shooting it. So we have a massive work of continuity, but you know, I guess what helped to get a balance between moods from sequence to sequence was this: we actually sat down and wrote a graphic where we could make sure of what we want to say with the scene, what is the tone, how far can we go with the dark stuff happening, or with humor. So that helped us a lot.
And how was it watching the UK premiere with the audience? Were you nervous? Were you excited? And how did you feel by the end of it with the reception from the audience as well?
I'm always nervous, yeah, and but I'm really happy right now. The session is just ended, and I'm really happy with the reception we have here in Manchester. And I thought that there was a lot of people really interested in get to know more about the movie, to make questions, and we were approached by in the way out. And I'm really glad, really glad. We put a lot of effort in making movies, and of course, we make movies to screen them in front of the audiences, and we're aiming some commercial success, of course, always, but we are also aiming to please audiences. We're also aiming to entertain, and I guess that by the reaction of the audience here, we managed to get that done today.
I absolutely loved it. Saying it again, one of my films of the film festival so far. So best of luck to you in the future. I know you're working on a film right now. Can you give fans a glimpse of what that will be in terms of the plot?
Yeah, my next film actually has a connection with Manchester Film Festival.
Okay.
Because I have shot a short film which was called Three Kinds of Fear, who screened here in 2017, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm shooting a feature which is based on this short film. It's now Five Kinds of Fear. It's obviously a greater movie, and it talks about urban violence in Brazil. Brazil is one of the most violent countries in the world, and we are going to talk about how this violence affects us on our daily life, and it's also a non-linear movie.
Right. Non-linear excites me, and yeah, judging by your debut feature, I'm going to be watching all your films until you hang up the boots. So, best of luck to you for the rest of your career. I'm sure we'll meet again at this film festival as you've been here before. But best of luck to you in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.